Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are in Austin, Texas this week. And
God bless Texas.
Exactly. And a beautiful city, awesome area. I'd like to move here one day.
People at Corpus were mad at me last week because I made fun of them on air.
Yeah, you did.
I got a lot of Twitter. I
got a lot of tweets, too, saying it was me, but I never made fun of Corpus.
No, you
Corpus.
didn't. We were, Corpus is actually a nice city. I just did it having fun with them, and people got mad at me.
You love Austin. You've had a lot of history here in Austin from a wrestling standpoint.
Yeah, Austin is a great city. I remember my first big pop, when I came out to the crowd, the place went nuts. And I thought, man, this is awesome. I've got it made. Then I realized that Terry Funk was tag teaming with me. So I looked around, and Terry Funk's waving his towel, and the place is going ballistic over Terry Funk. So I literally, just to see if it really was Terry, just walked to the ring without doing anything, and nothing changed. So it was 100% for Terry. But when I walked out, the place went nuts. And I really, for a second, thought, man, I've made it.
Yeah, Funk's, both Funks are a legend down here, Dory and Terry. But you wrestled in this whole area a lot, right?
A ton of times, yeah. Wrestled in Austin a lot, wrestled all over this part of the country.
Where did you guys play in Austin? You didn't use the Irwin Center all the time,
I can't even remember
did you?
where we played. It was an older building, probably the Municipal Auditorium, I guess. I don't even remember. We used to run down here for Jimmy Crockett when I was working with the Von Erichs organization out of Dallas. So it was a sportatorium, then Crockett took it over, and then Crockett would run all these towns down in this area. This area was kind of a hybrid because it was just in between, say, the Von Erichs and also the San Antonio territory.
Right.
And Houston, and even the Funks would come down in here.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would come in here from different territories.
What about, so we're in Austin tonight for Monday Night Raw. We're in Laredo tomorrow night, which would be Tuesday night, for Friday Night SmackDown. Have you had much, did you do much wrestling in Laredo?
In Nuevo Laredo.
Oh, okay,
wrestled
across the border.
Mil Mascaras for the Mexican Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
I did.
Was that when you were Vampiro Americana?
Vampiro Americana. I wrestled Mil Mascaras on a ring that was as hard as a concrete overpass. It was just boards covered with the tarp. It was so hard, anything you touched hurt on it. I wrestled Mil Mascaras in front of a pretty good crowd there in this dingy building for the Mexican Heavyweight Championship.
How did the whole Vampiro Americano gimmick come about?
This is one of the greatest stories in my life.
I've never heard it.
My God, this is a great story. So I was working down on the border for a bunch of independent promotions. Kevin Von Erich was working with the independent promotions as well. So I'd fly down with Kevin and Bobby Duncombe. We go down there and work these border towns on the Texas side. And somebody from the Mexican organization came to the event. We had a big event, I think in McAllen, and saw me and wanted me to come to Mexico. So I literally go down to Mexico, land in Monterrey, first time to wrestle in Mexico. And they pick me up, take me to a press conference, sit down, and I had all my cowboy gear with me. They said, leave your cowboy gear here. And I said, okay. And so I left it there. And so the first question was, why did you choose the name Vampiro? That's the first I'd ever heard of it. So I turned to my translator. Now, thank God they asked me in Spanish. If they'd asked me in English, I wouldn't have had any answer. Right. So I turned to my translator, and I said, I hope you're smart to the business because I have no idea what they're talking about. I whispered in his ear for a little while. He turned and gave this 5-minute answer in Spanish. Apparently, they were satisfied with this answer. So I get done, and I say, what in the world are you guys talking about with Vampiro? They said, well, there's Vampiro Americano, Vampiro Canadiense. You're going to be Vampiro Americano. Well, I understood this because they had the Patriot in the Dallas Federation, and they had the Dark Patriot, the bad guy. So I figured I'm coming down here as the bad guy. Well, they wanted to make me a good guy, then turn me into a bad guy, then give me the title, then wrestle Vampiro. What it turned out was Vampiro had punched a little stooge of Mr. Elizondo, who owned a restaurant there, who owned the promotion, and Vampiro didn't like him. Whatever happened, I'm not sure. But this is allegedly. I never asked Vampiro this. I should ask him if this was true about punching the stooge. That's what I heard. Either way, they had a fallout with Elizondo. They brought me down to be a thorn in the flesh of Vampiro.
Okay.
I had no idea about this. So I started looking at video of Vampiro. This guy was over like Hulk Hogan.
Right.
I mean, the guy had a rock band. He had a cologne. He had commercials. We'd work in Monterey, and you put his name on the billboard, 18,000-something people, he would sell it out every single time. Any building his name was on would sell out. So now I'm the bad vampire. I've got the Mexican Heavyweight Championship. So the first time I meet him is in the Plaza del Toros in Monterey. So I'm sitting there in this old bullfight arena, this horrible arena, and I'm sitting there in a little dressing room, and I realize there's animosity between us. I don't know where it's coming from. So I asked
you don't get the story.
No. I don't get it at all. I'm just down there being a role. I don't have any idea about these inner politics between Vampiro and Elizondo and CMLL and all the different stuff. And I said, do we have a problem? And he said, well, you're wearing my stuff. And I said, well, that's the idea. I said, I'm wearing your stuff. Then I'm going to lose the title to you. Then I'm going to lose the name to you. So they want me to do a hair match. That's not going to happen. I said, but I'm going to lose all this stuff to you. And he's still eyeballing me. And I thought, we're about to get into a fight. And I don't know why.
Right.
So I said, whoa. I said, I don't understand the problem. He said, you're wearing my stuff. And now he's getting really mad. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And he relaxes for a second. And he says, you're not in on this, are you? And I said, I don't even know what I'm not in on. He said, that's my stuff. He had paid for this stuff in Monterey.
Right.
The office of Elizondo went down, picked up the stuff that he had paid for, basically stole it,
right,
and had given it to me.
So you're wearing
literally wearing his gear.
His stolen gear.
His stolen gear he had bought, sitting across from him in a private room, just me and him. And I just started laughing. And finally, he started laughing. He finally saw the humor in it. We became good friends. I saw him about a year ago in an elevator, and he's a good-looking guy, big tall guy. We were at some convention, and he had his head shaved. And he said, "Don't remember me, do you?" And I knew him. I mean, he's one of those guys where you look at him, you know he's somebody. And I said, I'm sorry, no. He goes, you were wearing my stuff about 20 years ago. I said, oh, my God, Vampiro.
That's awesome.
He said, yeah. He said, I've heard that story from your side. He said, that's exactly what happened. He said, I had no idea. So I'm sitting there wearing his gear that the office had stolen, that he had paid for, and I'm wearing.
You can actually Google a picture of Vampiro Americana.
It was horrible. They had me wear face paint, kind of like the Ultimate Warrior.
You had the long blonde hair.
Oh, it was terrible.
You were all big and stuff.
I didn't even know how to paint my face, and I hated painting my face. So the first time I did it on TV, somebody painted it for me. It looked really nice. I would literally just put some grease paint under my eye like a baseball player. It was horrible. I just paint my face up. I had no idea what I'm doing. I hated it.
So there's the story of Vampiro Americana. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then we wrestled for the Mexican title in Monterey. And
great city, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great city. Already, it's a great city. I assume.
Well, it's not as great anymore with the drug issues, but anyway.
But yeah, great city at the time. 18-something thousand people dropped the title to him. Then I wrestled for the name Vampiro, and of course lost that too. Funny how the bad guy loses in these things. Yeah. And then that was kind of the end of the run. Then I still went down there as John Hawk or something like that. Right. But that was a plan all along.
You've had more names.
Oh, my God. Of course I have.
It's amazing.
One of the worst I had was Death Mask.
Death Mask?
Death Mask.
In Japan?
In Japan. Yeah, first time I met Chris Jericho. I had like a cowboy Undertaker gimmick, and they didn't even tell me about it either. So I had all this hair down in front of my face. I had a cowboy hat on when I was Undertaker just came out in WWE.
Right.
And I said, my God, man, I'm ripping off this man's gimmick. And they said, yeah, but just for a tour, because at that time you couldn't leave a Japanese federation and go to another one because it was completely taboo. So they said, you got to be a different character. And I said, oh, geez. So I was this Death Mask for like 2 weeks and then changed it. Oh, it's horrible.
So anyway, there you go. Some stories we've never heard from JBL. It's exciting.
There you go.
So for those of you listening who are not wrestling fans and have no idea what we're talking about, there you go. That's the history of John.
It was my days of the carnivals and the sideshows.
Exactly.
Before I made it to the big time of WWE.
And now look where you are.
Now I'm here in a hotel room with you, Michael.
Doing a podcast with me. But...
Wait, I knock on the door. You said, you got to tell me who you are. So what if somebody comes in here and takes advantage of me? And I said,
exactly.
Michael, who's going to bottom feed that much?
I was worried that somebody might try to break in and, like you said, take advantage of me. So I was concerned.
Yeah, there's a lot of grandfather lovers around people.
Grandfather fetish.
This has been the John Layfield and Michael Cole Radio Show, brought to you by LayfieldReport.com. All the news you need, all in one place. Subscribe to the newsletter to be eligible for great prizes and download the app to take Layfield Report with you wherever you go. The guys can be reached via Twitter at JC Layfield and at Michael Cole. Hey, thanks for spending part of your day with us. We'll all be back next week.